The data I collected was presented in two separate forms. First, I conducted a student survey with the 36 students who met the before-mentioned requirements. The survey was administered to these students the same day they took their 2013-2014 assessments, at this point in time as juniors. The survey asked three questions. How accurately do you feel the Iowa assessments measured your ability on the reading test? Was the first question. In response to this, students overwhelmingly responded that they agreed the test was able to accurately measure their reading ability. Next, question 2 asked, did you feel the questions asked were fair? Again, students overwhelmingly responded they felt the test questions were fair, with only 4 students voicing the opinion that the test questions were unfair. A sample comment stated for a student who felt the questions were unfair, they didn't have enough time to answer all the questions. Finally, question 3 stated, how much of an impact do you feel your ability to read has on your ability to perform in a history course? 7 of the 36 students felt reading had little to no impact, while the other 29 students felt reading ability has at least a 5% impact on the performance of students in a typical history course. These opinions expressed by the students in the survey corresponds accurately with the findings from the second part of the data collection I took part in. In this, students were first split into groups based on the percentile they scored on the Iowa Assessment Reading Test. On the Iowa Assessment Reading Test, students are ranked between a 1 or first and 99th percentile. Those students scoring the 99th percentile are at the highest scoring rate. Students then scoring in the 1st through 19th percentile were put together in one group. Those students falling in that percentile averaged a course grade of 68.8%, which had a standard deviation of 3.311. Students in the next block scoring in the 20th through 39th percentile averaged a course grade of 76.3%, with a standard deviation of 8.631. Students who scored in the 40th through 59th percentile received average course grades of 76.9%, with a standard deviation of 6.604. Next, students scoring in the 60th to 79th percentile received average course grades of 84.3%, with a standard deviation of 6.481. Finally, those students falling in the highest percentile of the 80th to 99th received an average course grade of 84.7 and a standard deviation of 7.573. For a better, closer look at this data, see the next 2 slides of the Prezi. So, what can be determined from this data? In the end, student achievement on standardized reading tests does have an impact on student classroom performance after all. Noticeable jumps can be seen when moving from the 1st to 19th percentile group up 1 to the 20th to 39th percentile. At this point, classroom grades on average improve by almost 8% when moving to the 20th through 39th percentile grouping. This can also be seen when going from the 40th to 59th percentile grouping to the 60th to 79th percentile grouping, where another 8% grade jump can be seen. These show that as students make large jumps in their reading ability, they are then able to perform at a much higher level in a social studies classroom, jumping a total of almost 16 percentage points from the bottom reading level to the top reading levels.